Hey, there he is. Look at that shirt.
That's good, bro.
Look at that shirt. Nice shirt.
Thank you.
That is,
Wow, nice shirt.
that is great.
Nice glasses
Very nice. Looking good.
as well, man. I like your style.
Thank you. Thank you. I like your style. Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course. Yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time,
Yeah, we have.
and I'm glad we could finally make it happen.
Thank you.
So you've been a business owner for a little bit now. You started with actually a restaurant, correct? That was your first thing, La Casita, and then you got into wedding photography, did Pablo and Samantha photography, and then launched a sister brand off that, which was like a lower price point. So, yeah, why don't we kind of just get right into it? Why don't you give me a little breakdown of what you do, how long you've been doing it?
Perfect. Yeah, so, I mean, you got it mostly right. Yeah, I do have a restaurant as well, as you know, La Casita.
La
What's
Casita.
your favorite thing at La Casita?
Uh,
I know you've been there a couple times.
yeah, I would say the like that pulled. What is that meat there?
The pernil,
Yeah.
shredded pork shoulder.
Shredded pork. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good.
So, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, at first I did have the Pablo and Samantha photography before La Casita.
Okay.
It just wasn't really where it's at right now. So it was always, it was like I was starting my business. I had a few weddings here and there. I was growing the company,
Mhm.
but I decided to open up the restaurant as well.
Now, how is that with like? All right, you're already doing a business, right? So you're focused on the wedding photography and whatnot. And I know your sister as well. She does some form of
A video.
Video. She
Yeah.
does video. So, yeah. So she does the video.
Yeah.
Now, doing two businesses, right, that are in like totally different spaces. Was that challenging?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so here's the thing. At first, I was doing Pablo and Samantha photography. It's me and my wife,
Mm-hmm.
shooting weddings. We got into it. My grandfather was a photographer in Guatemala.
And your dad was a wedding photographer, right?
Yeah. So then my grandfather taught my dad. He used to actually go to all the different farms to they have like cow shows in Guatemala, I guess. And then he used to take pictures of all the cows, and it's pretty cool when I think about it. Where the history of photography came from my family.
Yeah.
And then he taught my dad. My dad migrated to the U.S. He decided to use his skill to start his business, but shoot weddings.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, at the time, he was shooting in film, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I imagine that was challenging. I don't think I thought about it a few times. I don't think I would make it if I started like 10 years earlier when it was like film.
Yeah, it's extremely hard.
Yeah.
But it's just funny too at how film was the main thing back then. People kind of ditched it. Now people are starting to go back into it.
I could be totally wrong on this, but I feel like the reason why wedding photography is so expensive, I feel like it kind of migrated over because you were paying for film, you were paying for the development costs.
Yeah.
And then when we migrated to digital, you're still charging the same prices, but the workload was totally different.
Yeah. I mean, that does make sense. When I started my business, everything was already digital, so, I can't say that's the main reason.
Mhm.
But, I mean, also inflation, I think, has caused many photographers to raise their prices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this last season you definitely saw that.
Exactly.
Did you guys raise your prices recently?
We did. We recently raised our prices, but also at the same time, I feel like, I think every company, every photographer gets better every year.
Right.
There's some people that, do it just for the money or, do it just because they want to have a job in this business. But I know there's photographers out there that actually love photography, you know, for what it is, love shooting weddings, and actually put their all into improving as well.
Yeah, I feel like you can't get into this business, at least not weddings, if you don't love weddings, because you quickly find out whether you like weddings or not. I know for me it was like probably the it was the very first wedding I did. I was like, I love this.
Yeah, definitely. You do have to have a passion for it, but at the same time, I don't know, not really. I think there's a lot of people that just see it as business. Maybe you don't have to love it, but
do you think you'll be as successful at it?
No, you won't. I think you'll be stagnant at some point throughout your career if you don't truly enjoy it or love it.
Yeah.
So, you know, every year as we improve, we do try and price ourselves accordingly based on what the value of our work is.
Yeah.
So, and I think you pretty much do the same as well, you know?
I think so. We generally raise prices once a year, but we like to stay in line with what our competitors are doing and
Absolutely.
be, you know, we like to be competitive. Maybe we could be a little bit higher, but this year we actually raised prices because we're booking too much. So it's like we're trying to keep volume down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I know you do quite a lot. How many weddings are you doing this current season?
About 75, 80
Yeah.
at that point right now. But that's like a mix of Pablo and Samantha and the collective team that we started as well.
Yeah. And what are your starting prices?
I believe it's at $2,900 for one collective shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, which is very fair compared to what's out there, you know, different prices, different photographers. I think it's a very fair price for great photos as well.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great starting rate, especially for someone who's like been in the business for a while.
Yeah.
And who has, you know, you guys have a great look and it's definitely quality. And you guys do just photo, right?
We do just photo, correct. Yeah, I want to really just focus on that. And like you said, you know, my sister, coming from a dad who had his own wedding photography business, both of us did kind of grow up in that industry and saw him, and he did teach us. It was just happens that I decided to go the photography route, and Gabby decided to go through the video route.
Yeah, I remember her telling me that she would do, like, she would be editing videos from, like, I don't know, she was like 13 or something.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy, yeah. We, at first, so like I said, you know, my dad he started his wedding business doing film. Like, at the age of 13, he started taking me to the events. And then we realized that digital was the thing that was starting to be in now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we got into digital. Then he noticed that people wanted to book photo and video as well. So I bought a camcorder type video, a camcorder camera. So I was taking the videos at first, and then Gabby learned at school. We used to go to community prep. They taught us how to do video editing there, which is pretty cool. In middle school, so she kind of got those skills, and then started to make her own wedding videos, and we shot we did a lot of weddings like that.
Yeah. Well, we should get Gabby here. Where is she?
Oh man,
let's call her up.
I don't know. She's always busy. You know how it is with her. She does her own thing, and you know, she's the first in our family to graduate. So
really, all right. You saying that you do 75 weddings. I'm sure your goal is to even go past that. Why don't you tell us what your goal is, and maybe like one of your pain points or the hardest part of like actually scaling a business in your experience?
So definitely my goal is to, you know, be able to shoot probably 200 weddings a year.
Oh.
But at the same time be able to deliver the same quality, be able to give people the same great experience, and be able to give, you know, the photographers that work under the collective team, you know, a great pay, a great job. I want them to feel lucky and to feel happy and content, you know, with what they're doing and passionate about it as well.
Yeah, and sorry to skip around so much, but like with keeping them happy and content, you know, creatives always want to go off and do their own thing.
Yeah.
I think some people are just like, no, I don't. I just want to be creative. I don't want to handle the business side.
Yeah.
How do you keep employees happy? How do you keep them staying with you versus like, all right, hey, I want to go charge $3,000 and just shoot my own weddings?
So, you know, it's difficult, like you said. You know, your business is a lot bigger than mine, so you really understand this, the difficulty in this aspect of the business. But I think it's important to not really see them as employees. You know, they're in a way partners that help grow the business. You know, and be able to compensate them for what they do, which is ultimately through their work, through their eye, through their art, they're able to grow PNS Collective, you know? So they're as much of a important piece to the business as Samantha is, as I am. So just be able to compensate them and see what their needs are, you know? Not just financially, but, you know, where they're feeling, how they're feeling, what they want out of life, you know, kind of being able to help them fulfill their purpose in a way as well, you know?
Right. Yeah, they say, like, money's not a motivator.
Oh,
have you heard that?
Yeah, I haven't, but it is. I think it is.
Yeah, a consultant recently told me that. He said money's not a motivator.
Really? How much is he charging?
$25,000.
Oh, my. Yeah, I think it is a motivator, but at the same time, I think it's the biggest motivator. But
You don't think it's the biggest motivator?
No, I think it is the biggest.
Oh, you think
motivator.
it is? Yeah. Yeah, people have like different
takes on that.
Yeah.
I think it's the biggest motivator, but at the same time, it's not the only motivator.
Someone once told me that people just want to feel involved in something, you know? They want to feel like their like voice is heard and like what they do matters, and feel like they're a part of a team.
Oh, of course, definitely. I think that's what everybody in every business, you know, everybody wants to feel important or heard, you know?
Right.
And I think that's how it should be everywhere. It shouldn't just be one person making the decisions. It should be like a group thing.
Yeah. So when you're hiring, what do you look for in a potential PNS shooter or a potential Pablo and Samantha employee?
I mean, this is my thing. I think it should be more of a, believe it or not, I want them to have an eye for things, but there's other attributes that I look at that I feel are more important. For example, like responsibility, dedication to the craft, that eagerness to learn. I don't know, but I feel like, you know, you didn't, I bet there wasn't a time and age when you didn't know anything about photography, right?
Yeah.
At one point in your life, you had no clue how to even take a photo on a digital camera, right?
Yeah, no, I couldn't.
So I think that's the point with everybody. Everybody at some point in their life, they're going to learn whatever they're good at, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They have to learn at one point. So essentially, I feel anybody could be good at anything. So it's just a matter of how responsible, how disciplined you are, and how eager you are at learning it.
Yeah, I think when you have passion, you can lack discipline and have passion because your passion drives you. Yeah. Right? So it's like your passion to do something keeps you committed to it and like always learning.
But I think, yes, but at the same time, if you're passionate about something, you will instinctively be disciplined as well.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
But I feel like if you don't have the passion, then you absolutely need discipline.
It's just funny listening to us with this same sweater, same glasses.
Do you think people are going to take us seriously?
I hope they do.
The same?
Yeah.
This was, should we let them know what this is all about? Should we let them in on the joke?
On the joke, maybe, yeah. So
so
how did this happen?
Context.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So people probably want to know why we're dressed the same. It's not that interesting of a story.
It's not, but it was one time, I guess we went out once, you know, we
were at a business crew.
Yeah.
And
I came with this sweater on.
It's a great sweater.
Yeah. And then
I loved it. I said,
Sean was like instantly
I was hooked. Yeah.
Hooked on it. He was like, wow, that's a great sweater.
Where'd you get that sweater?
Yeah. And then
so
I told him I would give it to him, but
yeah, I think you actually like took it off.
I took it off, and I told him I would give it to him, but I didn't realize how it looked at the time. That, and then he was like, "No, I can't do that.
I can't accept the sweater."
Yeah. He thought about it though.
Yeah, I didn't have the heart to take it, but I did go out that same day.
That same day,
like
30 minutes after we had
and
left.
I bought that sweater.
He went and he bought it. Then he did,
And if you want to get this sweater, Abercrombie.
Yes. But he did have the glasses first though.
Yeah, that's
Can't
true.
lie. Yeah.
That's true.
That's his look. Even if it's not prescription, but
well, I don't need to know that.
Oh, okay.
This is simply a fashion.
Oh, we can cut that,
fashion.
right?
Yeah, we'll cut that out.
Okay,
So I said, hey, it might be funny if we both wore the same shirt on the podcast.
It's funny, right?
Maybe it's funny.
Yeah, hope they take us serious.
Leave it in the comments if you think it's funny. If you think it's not funny,
just leave it in the comments too. We'll come dressed differently next time.
Yeah. But this podcast is mainly a lot for my personal enjoyment.
Okay.
Talking.
Oh yeah. So tell me. I mean, I'm not the one asking the questions, but I do have a question.
Yeah.
What made you want to start this podcast? Like, where did this come from?
That's a great question. So it was during the pandemic, and we had all this time on our hands between clients canceling and rescheduling. And I was like, oh, it'd be fun to do a podcast. So we ordered like all this podcasting gear.
Yeah, you really got to show the people like this whole room, everything. The setup is so official, guys. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we're actually getting doors installed. So they installed half of it, and then the other half is going to be like a glass door. But yeah, the lights and all that stuff, we kind of acquired a little bit over time, but it was kind of a passion project for me. I like little things that kind of just like don't have a rhyme or reason, or you don't have to think about like profit with it.
Yeah.
But it is like kind of an expensive. All hobbies are expensive. This one's like an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
When you like really break down the equipment costs and then the editing costs and then the time costs. And I'm very much like about like efficiency and like profit and things like that. So it's like it is difficult sometimes for me to like.
But it's enjoyable.
It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like for the most part, like I bring on people that I know and I'm friends with that are like business owners or entrepreneurs or creatives and that kind of thing, and just have a conversation. And I guess like maybe it's going to be, maybe it would turn into something.
I think it definitely has the chance to, like how you have this set up and, just
this is
like
very meta that we're talking about the podcast on the podcast.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah. But also, kind of going back to your point, like you're passionate about this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it. Like,
so
it's
not passionate.
No, passion's not the right word.
Okay.
I'm not passionate about the podcast.
Yeah, but still, I think it has great potential. I see the whole room. I see the vision for it, though. And I think there's a lot of great people out there in Providence, especially. In Rhode Island. I'm a big Prov guy, so
yeah,
I'm always an advocate for my city.
Oh, I love Providence. Yeah, I think it's one of the greatest cities.
Oh yeah, it's like a hidden gem.
Yeah,
it has the opportunity of. Do you think it has the opportunity of being great, like, say, like ATL or Miami potential?
Didn't it get like creative capital?
It did get creative capital of it did, but at the same time, I don't feel like people take it serious.
I just feel like it's people underestimate Rhode Island as a whole as a state.
Yeah,
and I think people who live here kind of take it for granted. They don't see how much of a great state it really is.
Yeah,
and it's not until you like travel to say LA, where you're like, I've traveled a lot around the U.S. and I'm just like, man, like Rhode Island. And I used to be one of those people who was just like, I gotta leave Rhode Island. I gotta leave Rhode Island.
Horrible.
Yeah. You got the beach.
You have the city.
You get the city, small city.
Yeah.
Close to Boston.
You have small towns if you're not a city person.
Yeah.
And everything's
close
within like what, 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Close to New York, yeah. It's great. There's no reason people should want to leave.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do say. They say people never leave.
Yeah. They don't, because they notice how great it is.
Yeah. Which goes against my statement.
That's funny. All right, so back to what we talk about. The business
we're
aspect.
talking about the podcast, yeah.
Or the podcast,
and you want to get back on the business?
I don't know. Up to you. Yeah, let's get back to the business. Like, well, the podcast. Let's finish that off.
Yeah.
So you see, it has potential to kind of like just grow to have like pretty important people on it.
I mean, I have pretty important people on it.
Well, probably other people. Yeah, I mean, everybody's important in their own way, but probably people that have more of an influence, I guess.
Maybe.
Be the right question.
Like, I felt in order to get to people like of a level of influence, like
Yeah.
I have to be like a comfortable, like, communicator and like communicating with people and asking the right questions. So it's like the first season was bringing on a lot of people that I know and friends, and everybody's different to talk to.
Yeah.
So it's but that's the goal. If I could get more influential people and kind of build a little bit of a following, but it's got to be interesting enough to make people want to listen to it.
Yeah.
And it has to like create enough value for someone to want to listen. So it's like if it's catered towards people who are looking to grow a business or be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like there has to be some really good nuggets. Like I feel like within the podcast for a person to be like, oh, I need to tune into this podcast.
Okay. So you've been like practicing your questions on all the first season and second season of this thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So we're kind of between like, should we come prepared with questions?
Yeah.
And we're going to ask these series of questions. And I feel like that's like very formal and like interviewee.
Yeah.
And the other one is like more conversational where it's like
this right here.
Yeah, where it's like a question kind of like organically comes about and ask that question, truly listen to the response, and then like kind of see where the conversation goes.
Yeah, that makes sense. It flows, and sometimes I feel like you can get some good content.
Right.
Then it doesn't have to be premeditated.
Yeah, and I've only tried it this way. Maybe I should try the interview style. We could try it right now. I could come up with a few questions and ask you. But that's essentially what it is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we've known each other for a while, and it kind of makes it. Well, you could if you want to. You want to pause it?
Can we pause it? I don't know if we can pause it.
Pause it?
I don't know if it's possible.
Oh, never mind. Never mind that.
Yeah, we got to keep going.
Okay, we'll keep going.
All right, so
that's cool though.
Yeah.
Interesting to know about the podcast.
So back to you. You were saying with employees, like you look for people that are responsible, passionate, that they're eager to learn. So it sounds like you pretty much will teach them the skills.
Exactly. Yeah. I think, Samantha. So Sam, my wife, has this like really great ability of creating systems for the businesses. Kind of, she's like the more does the stuff that nobody else sees, but keeps the business running. So she creates systems for it.
What kind of system? When you say systems, what kind of systems?
Basically, like, there's just so many. For example, she has a system of like when inquiries come in, how to respond to clients, how to make sure everybody's on the same page for what wedding they're shooting, making sure the people that edit the photos, they know how much time they have to edit the photos, and just like systems that take the client from one place to the other, like from one step. First it's like the planning process, then it's like we shoot their wedding, and then they wait for their edited images. So you need systems throughout that whole process, and she's kind of done that. So it's not as complicated, and it doesn't require as much effort from us, but it kind of just flows in a way where it's easier for everyone.
Yeah. So for a wedding photographer owning a business, like what are some softwares that you use that you feel like are really crucial to success?
So
you can give me some. I'll throw out some of my favorites too.
Yeah.
Also, we're not paid to. We're not like.
They're not paying us yet to talk about this. Yeah. So.
But maybe.
One day.
Maybe one day.
When the podcast.
When this podcast takes off.
Yeah, it has millions of people tuned in. But one of the biggest things that has really helped my business. You actually recommended this to me. So by the way, Sean has helped me a lot with growing the business. He's a really good friend.
Yeah, I'd say likewise.
Thank you. But one of the things that you gave me was HoneyBook. I think you used something else.
Yeah, which is ironic that I'd recommend that one. But yeah, no.
So you recommended something of that nature, of that system.
Weren't you already using it though?
Not at the. I think I got it when you told me about it. You know.
Hmm.
I don't know if he said Honeybook, but he told me there's different types of companies that do the stuff that organize all your inquiries and kind of send out an automatic response. So yeah, Honeybook is the biggest one. It helps me keep everything organized.
Yeah, and I would say any CRM. Like if you're a photographer that is entering the space, do yourself a favor, like off the bat, invest in a CRM. I mean, they're pretty cheap, especially if you do one that's like catered towards photographers. They're usually like between $10 and $20 a month. And it's really like an all in one place for the client experience, managing contracts, invoices, the pipeline, where a project is and how much needs to be done. And you can do workflows, automations.
Exactly. Everything he just said. It's basically, it's like it saves so much time. It, allows you to dedicate all that saved time put into something else in your business,
Yeah, not only does it save time, it like I feel like it increases the client experience because you can add in emails that you probably should be sending, but
but forget to or don't have the time to.
When you're managing 30, 50, 75 clients,
Yeah.
like to send all these emails, like
Exactly,
that's
for
quite a lot.
invoices and stuff, like reminding them.
But you can set basic workflows that will just send out, hey, here's your reminder for our upcoming engagement session. Here's how long it takes to get your images back. Hey, happy anniversary a year later.
Yeah.
You can automate all that.
That's a good one.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm gonna.
You guys don't
probably
do that one?
Huh? Nah, I don't.
I would say two good ones, two automated emails that we send
Yeah.
out is the day after email.
Okay.
Which
perfect.
the day after email just basically says like, hey, congrats, we had such a good time shooting your wedding.
Yeah.
And it resets expectations for delivery times because I think a lot of times clients will
smart.
forget.
They always ask.
They always ask, like it'll be as soon as they get back for their honeymoon or while they're on their honeymoon, like, hey, when can we get our images back?
Yeah.
And this way it eliminates that. So it's like, hey, you can expect your images in 6 to 8 weeks, your video in 16 to 20 or, whatever your turnaround time is.
Okay, that's very smart. Usually, we give our clients previews.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a lot of work because I have to make sure everything's imported, choose out some of the favorite photos, and edit them to perfection because I know they're going to be, all images are edited to perfection.
But they're going to share those everywhere.
They're going to share those to everyone, so make sure you get something really, really nice and crisp. So we usually do send a thank you after that, but, the reminder of when they will be getting their images and full gallery I think is great.
I think it's a really special email because it's like, oh, they thought about me like the day after the wedding.
Yeah,
that's
great.
So you get in that touch point, and again, like resets expectations, so you don't get that follow-up email like, "Where's my stuff?" It's always better, I think, to get to the client before they get to you.
Absolutely, I don't think clients should be reaching out to any vendor.
Right.
Well, they could, but I think a great vendor will make sure to be on top of things. Like I will check in with them before they check in with me.
Right.
It kind of gives the client the sense of security, like, oh wow, they're very responsible, they know what they're doing, and I know I'm going to be well taken care of.
Right, because you're thinking about it, before they are.
Exactly.
Where it's like I feel like if a client's thinking about it, they're probably worried about it.
Yes.
And they're probably like they're anxious.
I agree.
And it's like your goal is to create security, I think, in their mind.
Yes.
Like that they can trust you. You're like establishing that trust. And I think communication really helps that. And when you start getting like, say if you do go over a deadline, right? They should never be reaching out to you. It's like that communication is so important where it's like, hey, we haven't forgotten about you. Things got busy. We got to push out our deadline like, another week.
Exactly.
But you can expect your images at this. I feel like a client is more apt to like be understanding versus if they have to reach out.
Yeah, and I think it all goes to trying to cultivate that client experience and that client relationship. Just making sure that that, like you said, that they feel secure, they feel happy, content. Even I think this is great business advice overall, just because even before you have to take one photo, right? They already have a like this good image of your company, you know, and they already have like this before you even do anything. They already have this good like mentality of you, you know. So once they get the photos, that like good image of you kind of translates to the images as well, you know, and they're like, wow, they're great, you know. And I'm not saying even if you know, I'm not saying the images are gonna be bad or great or anything, but it just kind of helps with them liking their gallery and appreciating it more, you know.
Right.
I don't know. That's what I feel like. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that plays into it. I think the more things you get right, the happier they're going to be. And I think if you start to sour their experience, they're going to be looking through that lens when they finally get their images.
Yes, you basically said it a lot better than I did, but that's exactly what I was trying to. That's what I was trying to get at. Like, from that perspective, you know, like you
Right.
can either have them view your images from a sour perspective or from a very pleasant, happy, content perspective. So,
Right.
you kind of have to, you know, make sure you're doing right by the client even before you start working with them.
Right. And I think it goes so much even further beyond like the work or the images. Like
Yeah.
it's the experience that you give them on the wedding day, kind of
Absolutely.
leading up to it. You know, the communications that they're having. So it's like,
Yeah, and for me, it's great. I love when a couple comes back and they tell me, "Wow, my family, my friends, they all had great things to say about our photographers."
right.
You know, so
That's what you really want to hear.
exactly.
You know? Yeah. Oh, everyone just thought like you guys work so well together.
Yeah. So it just kind of, you know, as business owners for us, you know, it makes us feel good about the product we're giving, you know, and the experience we're giving people, and you know, just kind of helps us understand what's the good things we're doing in our business and what we should continue to do and
Right.
what we could do better as well, in a way.
Yeah, and I think sometimes I've had friends and people go, you know, a different route, and I think when you're choosing a wedding photographer, it's not just about the work,
It's not.
you know.
I've heard like really bad stories.
Yeah, you hear horror stories
Yeah.
out there. People losing images, not getting their images, clients getting ghosted.
Yeah. Or even like day of the actual experience, you know, the photographer not being pleasant. I think that's so big to me.
I feel like that would be the worst. And like when I think about getting married,
Yeah. Wait. Who's gonna do your photos when you get married?
that's a good question. I haven't thought about thought about the photos a little bit. Maybe Dawn Charles. That'd be cool to kind of have her.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. I might get someone local.
Okay. Yeah.
I've
stuck
thought more
on
about
that.
video, and like when it comes to video, like I just like I think more in like terms of like personality. Like I don't want, like I just want someone that's like we're gonna click, you know?
Yeah, that makes you feel comfortable the day.
Yeah.
Of. Yeah.
But I can't imagine like, yeah, like not liking my photographer or videographer because you spend so much time with them.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like they could spoil a day.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
They
Maybe I'm
definitely
thinking
could.
too
Yeah.
much into it, but
No, they definitely. I mean, you do this hundreds of times in a year. You know, you know that a photographer can ruin a wedding in a way. You know, if they don't know how to behave.
right.
I'm like, I shouldn't even be talking about this because I feel like it's such a, you know. But there are photographers that don't know how to conduct themselves in a wedding.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, and I think you know it can be a lucrative industry. So I feel
Yeah.
like some people just like, oh, I can make good money in
Yeah.
weddings. It's like that should be the last.
That comes after.
Right.
You know.
It should be more like, hey, I want to make a really great product. I love weddings. I want to give people a good experience. I feel like it should always come from like a place like that.
Yeah, definitely. So first, kind of create that product, create value to your business, and then think about like profit and all those other numbers.
Yeah, if it's a cash grab for you, I'd really like consider like finding something else.
Yeah. But or you can just come to PNS Collective.
Actually, like, we don't refer that many people, like, photography and video wise. We're pretty, like, careful with that. So it's like, but we do actually recommend Pablo and Samantha.
Appreciate you.
They're on our list. So
Thank you.
that's why images are good, and I know you guys care about it and like take care of
Yeah.
the clients on the other side. So do you have any favorite photographers that you'd recommend to me if I were to get married?
I do. My favorite photographer, I mean, I'm talking about every time he posts something, it like...
See, that's a great first question, I think.
That is a great question, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know. You did a pretty good job
Should
just making everything flow.
We'll start over.
You want to start over?
We'll start over.
You didn't like how...
No,
oh, my God. But my favorite photographer, like my jaw literally always drops when I see this guy post something, is
Anticipation.
Jose Villa.
Never
or Villa. Jose Villa or
Jose
Villa.
Villa.
I don't know the pronunciation. But he's always like named number 1, number 2 best photographer in the world, wedding photographer in the world. He did the Jonas Brothers, Nick Jonas, his wedding.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like local photographers.
Nah, I mean, me and Sam, we always talk about how we're gonna get married, do our wedding vows.
Yeah.
Just because when we got married at 19 and 20.
Let's see, Joseph Villa.
Yeah, Jose Villa.
Spell it.
Last name.
First name.
Hose.
Yeah.
Then Villa.
Oh, he's verified. 500,000 followers. This is your favorite photographer?
That is my favorite photographer.
What do you like about him? Is he film?
He shoots Sony, but he has his own presets that give him that look, a film like look. But maybe he does do film too. I don't know.
It's like all his locations are like...
All his locations are beautiful.
They look like imaginary.
They're all in France, Italy.
I don't know if you can actually see that.
Yeah. I mean, you guys could look it up.
Yeah,
can you tag him or do something here?
Sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him a little shout out here. Maybe we'll get him on the podcast.
You know what?
Oh, he did Bieber's wedding.
Justin Bieber's?
Yeah.
He does all the celebrity weddings, yeah. But that's how great he is.
Wow.
I love his work. I don't know, like, he just captures moments so beautifully. And that's something I try to do with my photography.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the portraits where we pose them, those always end up looking really great. But for us, we try to emphasize those like in between moments. But I think he does a beautiful job of capturing those moments, and he makes it look so artistic. So I love that.
Who would be your favorite local photographer?
I think Move Mountains.
Okay.
Nah. You have a good style. I like that preset you have on
the Instagram.
On the Instagram, yeah, that look.
Yeah, I can't give that away though.
I know you can't. No, but I'm saying it's like it's you, Yeah. It's unique and it looks great. And then if I were to say another photographer, so it doesn't seem like bias in a way.
That did feel biased.
Did, right?
Yeah.
No, I like it, but I'll say another one. Does he have to be wedding? Yeah, right. Let's stick to wedding.
All right. Yeah.
Who's the photographer? She's a girl. She's a girl.
Kirsten?
Yes.
Yeah.
Her work is
great.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
She probably doesn't even know I exist, but she is. I think she's one of the
She's
best
definitely
photographers.
one of the best, yeah.
Her eye is great. Her editing style is really great as well.
Super clean, yeah.
Yeah. So everything about it is really good.
Yeah, you can definitely tell there's like something different about her
Exactly.
imagery. It's like, and that's always the hardest thing. You look at a photographer's work, and it's just like, man, there's something there.
Yeah. So she's in terms of like look, style. I think those are some of my favorite images.
Yeah.
Favorite photographer.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. She might actually be the best. Um,
How about you? Who do you like?
Probably her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably my favorite. I think Frame and Anchor is pretty good. Pretty solid.
Oh, I've seen their stuff. Yes, really solid.
Um,
I feel
and
like
this is local.
yeah, this is all.
I would
Rhode
say
Island
video,
people.
probably Rich Ferry,
Which,
but I don't think he does weddings anymore. And then JB Horn, I think, is pretty good.
yep, I've seen his stuff. His
Yeah.
stuff. Obviously, I'm always
Very
gonna
solid.
go with Trophy Wives.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Trophy
yeah.
Wives,
Trophy Wives. She's
My sister.
Is it a she? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
My sister. Yeah, I think her work is unique, not just because she's my sister, but and you know what I like about her? How she makes the couples feel on the day of, you know.
She's very personal.
It's very
And
too
very,
personable.
Yeah, she's very funny.
Extremely so. I think she makes people feel comfortable, and it kind of shows in the video too. You know, sometimes she'll make them do stuff that, you know, you have to be very comfortable for them to be able to agree to. You know.
Yeah, she taught me a few things while filming that we've now like incorporated some shots of how she would capture dancing.
Okay.
Which I really liked. She would kind of go around the perimeter of the tables.
I've seen that. Yep.
You know, so you get like the people in the foreground and then like the couple dancing in the center. Which I was like, that looks really nice on film.
And that's what I like about kind of this industry. When you're able to connect with other, you know, you don't see it as much as competition, but when you see the wedding industry more like connections, you know, and you know, just people that work in the same industry that you can help each other out and you can get ideas from one another, you know. And at the same time, it doesn't mean your work is going to look the same as somebody else, because you have your own eye, you know. Kirsten has her own eye. Frame and Anchor has their own eye. You know, Pablo and Samantha we have our own way of taking photos. So we're still going to have our own like uniqueness to our images, but you know, we can get other ideas from someone else to kind of just make our work better, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, it's so true. It's funny because you're photographing the same thing but like there's subtleties of like different photographers. It's just yeah. Sometimes like you wish you could see things like the way other people see things, but you gotta appreciate like what you have too, you know.
Of course, everybody has their own eye, their own style, and you know, at the end of the day, when you go through a whole gallery, you're gonna, I don't know, if you're like a photographer that's been in the industry for a while, after a while you'll start noticing what style you have and what you've developed throughout the years.
Yeah, you definitely do. Back to basics here.
Okay.
How many images do you deliver in a wedding gallery?
I do about, I do about 500 to 900 images. 500 to 900 images.
500 if there's like one shooter?
If it's one shooter, sometimes it could be 400.
400.
But the thing is, I don't like doing like repetitive images. Like I know sometimes some photographers will say 1,000, 1,500.
Right. Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
But they'll give them like literally 5 images of the bride and her grandparents together, you know, like looking at the camera, same image. Like, I don't know. For me, that doesn't really count, you know. So I'll give them probably 1, or I'll give them 2 of that, but not the same, you know. There has to be something different about it.
Yeah, that's fair. Like you told me that, and that actually made me think, because I do feel like we do that a lot, where it's like there'll be 5 different shots of like the bride's shoes, but they'll all be like a little bit different. Like
if it's a little bit different, then that's passable. But if it's exactly the same, just because I'm throwing a preset on it and then just to add numbers to the gallery, I don't know. For me, that's something of my style, Pablo and Samantha, and the PNS Collective, that you won't get from us. Like, you won't get the same images all the time. I want everybody, when they look at their gallery, to be like wow every single image. And I feel like you can't wow them when they're looking at the same image all the time, you know? I don't know.
I just filmed a buddy of mine's wedding. Well, I was in it, but our company filmed his wedding, and he gave me some insight after the wedding, because we are very big on details.
Yes.
And I think brides are big on details, you know?
Yes.
and we were shooting the groom prep how we typically do, really kind of focusing on the groom. And we do this a lot for the storytelling of the video, where we focus on basically him just getting ready.
Okay.
But he had requested, like, hey, can you get some shots of the guys, like, hanging out, which is something we usually don't focus on too much. Focus on more, like, the editorial type shots.
Mm-hmm.
And as artists, like, in our approach to how we go into weddings, like, that makes sense for us. But it's like thinking about the client on the other end. Do they see our galleries, and obviously they're like, wow, this is really beautiful.
Yes.
But
they booked you, so obviously they like it, you know?
But then day of, are we capturing the things that are really important to them, you know? At least when it came to groom prep, you know?
Yeah.
Where for him, it was like, oh, I want shots of my buddies hanging out, drinking, you know?
Okay. Yeah, and for me, you know, I know we can talk back and forth, and we kind of know each other's styles. We kind of know each other's styles because we've worked with each other, and, you know, we're good friends. But for example, that's something big for me, you know. I'm probably not as good as you at getting the same, like, you're very efficient with your photography, right? I'm more of like kind of like getting those type of moments, like where he's hanging out and stuff like that. And I think that has to do with styles, you know.
Right.
But something important that I think that I know we like to do is we like to ask people what's important to them, that to make sure that we capture that. So something you taught me was create a timeline, like a shot list.
Mm-hmm.
Which has really helped our business and has helped our the PNS collective photographers make sure that they get everything down and not miss one of the important moments.
Yeah.
But also something I've added is make sure you get those in between moments that are not on the list.
Right.
And being able to ask the couples what's important to them. Everybody's going to have something different that matters, you know?
Right. Or they're going to have, like, an event that is maybe not typical.
Exactly,
that,
yeah.
Like, we just got back from South Carolina, and there was, she's like, my guests are arriving in these pastel buses.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, glad to know that up front so we can capture that. But, yeah, I think as, like, a shooter starting out, I remember I was just trying to shoot everything.
Yeah.
And at different times. Whereas, like, I remember one time in particular, we showed up at the reception, and they had all these beautiful details, all these, like, signage and things, and I was like, I gotta go capture all this stuff. And I'm getting all different shots, like, on sliders and just, like, but it wasn't efficient. It wasn't, like, thought out.
Yeah.
And it's also like, what else? Where was the couple? Should I have been getting portraits at that time?
Okay, yep.
So it's like really knowing what shots to get and the times to get them. I feel like is, like, so crucial to the day. And it's great for training.
Yeah, it's great. And being able to talk to the brides and kind of have that, you know, connection with them before the wedding kind of helps to make sure that you get exactly what they want, you know?
Right.
And to make sure you're not missing out on something that is important to them.
True. Cracking my neck.
Yeah, that's cool, though.
So, during the busy season, when you are shooting 75 weddings, running a restaurant, being a brother, a husband, a father. What?
No, you're funny.
I didn't even finish the question here.
I know.
A friend, a mentor. How do you juggle all those things?
You know what? The hardest thing to juggle is being a parent. You know, I have a 1 and a 3-year-old, so, and I was just talking about.
I was gonna shout out to Junie here.
Oh, shout out to Junie! Yeah, shout out to Junie. Oh man, can you add a little picture?
Yeah,
of him
we'll add a little photo of him.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
And then shout out to Sammy too, the little one. You can't leave him out.
Sam, it's funny. You named him after your wife?
Yeah. So Junie is.
But he's a guy, right?
He's a guy, yeah. Okay. So his name, the older one is Pablo, and that's why you call him Junie, short for Junior, and then Sammy is short for Samuel, and then that's after Samantha. So,
okay.
yeah. But that's probably the hardest part is like juggling being a parent, because for me I have to be a family man, like a husband and a parent before
Right,
an
a business
entrepreneur
owner.
and a business
Right.
owner, and that's tough,
Is there a struggle there? Like, because I know I'm head over heels for my business, right?
Yeah.
So I want to pour in all this time. Like, is there ever a time where it's just like, man, I want to be like working on the business, but right now I'm called to be a father.
There is a struggle, but at the same time, there's an advantage. So there's a struggle because I have to give, not that I have to, but I desire to give my family, like time and spend moments with them, and not miss out just because I'm an entrepreneur. And I think something that you and I have that is similar is we're ambitious, we wanna be successful, we want not just for the sake of being rich or for the sake of profits, but just because we want to have a good running business, and we want to do everything excellently. I think that's something that we both share. So it's tough when you have a family, but at the same time, it's easy. It's easier because it's Sam and I doing the work. Mm-hmm. So Sam is able to respond to all the inquiries. She talks to all our couples. She's able to she does our taxes too, so we don't even pay anyone for doing our taxes because she's a bookkeeper too. She's everything in the business, so I'm just the extra person.
Can we hire her?
You could. I don't know. Probably.
Is she looking for work?
I don't know, but yeah, she like literally this girl does everything, and everything that I can't do. So that's why I say it's an advantage.
You guys run it together. You guys aren't
literally
competing
together. No.
For like, she's not saying, "Hey, you're putting too much time." She's with you there, putting the time into it.
She is. She probably hates me because I've turned it into this like crazy worker. But she's probably the most admirable person that I know because she's a full-time mom. She also does full-time work. I'm talking about we both stay up at 2 or 3 in the morning, having to answer emails, or I'm editing, or we're both doing something. But she puts in as much work as I do, and she takes care of the kids too. So, yeah,
that's really
she's
good.
very inspiring.
What do you think of those people that like? And I don't want to come off sounding like anti those people, but you hear a lot about this, like on social media, where it's like people talking about boundaries. Setting boundaries for your business. Like, this just reminded me because you said answering emails at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And I used to be very much like that. Like, as soon as the lead came in, I wanted to respond to it.
Yeah.
As soon as a client like said, "Hey, where's this?" or "What's this?" or had a question, I wanted to be on it like within a minute.
Yes.
And I'd be answering emails 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
But you do hear a lot about people like, "Oh, I set at business hours. I don't answer my emails past 5." Like, what are your thoughts on all that? What's funny?
No, I'm just thinking about it. Think about my answer. So the way I see it, right?
Mm-hmm. I have my opinions on this, but I want to know yours.
I have. Here's the thing with that, right? I believe that if you want to be at a place where you no longer want to answer emails at 5, like let's say Move Mountains no longer has to answer emails at right away till 1. Like, you could wait till after business hours to answer emails, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why is that? It's because you put in the time when you were starting your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
To answer those emails at 2 or 3 in the morning. So you put in the work to establish a name for your business where people aren't just, where you're not competing with anyone else, because your clients, your couples, they know that they want you regardless of the price. You get my point? Mm-hmm. Because you've established that brand for yourself. You've established that name for yourself. So you are in a category of your own, right? So I think that's how it is with everybody. You have to kind of establish a business and be in a place of, you don't have, like, people come to you because they want you, because they know what they're getting from you. So you kind of don't really have much competition, or you're not really competing as much with anybody else. So then you can kind of answer your emails at whatever time you want, because if they're not booking you, someone else is.
Right.
So that's how I think in the beginning, when you're first starting off your business, or even if you're not starting off, but you're trying to scale or grow to, not everybody wants to shoot 100, 200 weddings a year, you know?
Right.
But there's some people that do want to shoot 30 weddings, but they want it to be like really specific type of weddings, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to work towards that, you know? It's not going to come to you. If people don't really know who you are, if you're just starting off, and you can't really start off and be like, I'm going to do it my way, you know? That's how I feel. What do you think?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I feel like some people kind of go into that with like this, I don't know if that's entitlement. I think it is, where it's just like, this is how I'm going to run my business. Like, it's more about them than it is the client.
Yeah.
And I feel like in business, it's just the opposite. It's like, no, like you have to be about the client. And you have, like you said, put in the time, put in the work, make those sacrifices up front. The other side of the coin is like you could establish these boundaries up front in the beginning and, you know, enjoy that work-life balance. And that might work for you. That might work if you're like shooting. I feel like you're going to do 15, 20. But I feel like people like us, very ambitious, like who want to like really scale, I think you really got to kind of grind.
Yes, and I forgot to kind of put into perspective and say that too. There are people that just want to shoot 15, 20, 25 weddings a year, you know? I think that's probably the perfect way to find if you're answering emails after 5, or if you're taking your time really for vacation, and like if you're the type of person that says, I'm going to go on vacation and I'm going to have my phone off and I'm not answering anything, right? Then I think that's fine if you're getting what you want from your business. You get what I'm saying? Like, right. If you're content. So it has to do, it's a matter of what kind of person you are, you know?
Right. It's like, what do you want out of life? Like, what makes you happy? And I think some people really enjoy that time and their me time and watching TV shows and going on vacation. Where me, it's like when I think about life, it's like...
That's not a bad perspective, by the way. That's not a bad life. I think that's actually... probably better than what I do. Stay up sleep 4 hours a day, you know?
Yeah. I mean, but, it really depends on like what your goals are. Yeah. Where, you know, my thing is like, okay, I want to scale. I want to like make like a big business. So how do we do that? You know, and I also don't really like going anywhere. I don't like really watching TV so it's like, I'm kind of doing what I like doing.
I agree. Yeah. And I think that's, you know, people like that enjoy vacations and me time and time with their spouses or their girlfriends or their boyfriends, you know. I think we actually do enjoy the grind.
Right.
You know? So we're both getting what we want from...
Right. It just looks different.
It just looks different, yeah.
It just looks unhealthy.
Looks unhealthy for us. Do we have mental problems or something? That's funny.
Mean, look at the shirts we're wearing.
I know, right? Look at the glass. That's like, crazy.
Look at these clowns.
But yeah, that's real cool.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is a good place to wrap.
Yeah.
We've been going a little over an hour here.
Wow, that felt pretty short.
It goes by pretty fast.
Is it like this with all your podcasts?
How it goes?
Yeah. It goes this quick?
Yeah, it feels like it because you got like the beginning of the podcast where, you know, you kind of get acclimated and just kind of comfortable with the format, and then you kind of get on a roll, keep going, and before you know it, you're into some really good conversations and, you know, kind of kicking it back and forth. But yeah, we were doing like 2 hours before.
Yeah. Did somebody suggest do less time?
Yeah, because I don't know, maybe it should be longer, but I feel like a 2 hour podcast is like, that's a long time for someone to tune in.
Don't get me wrong. I was almost
thinking like doing a half-hour podcast.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Now that I'm here, I could see why it goes 2 hours.
Right.
Because I literally could keep talking with you about business and, you know, the wedding industry and all this stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, I do understand people have like no attention span. Yeah. So they will definitely not sit down for 2 hours. I don't know. Unless you have that million views.
Right.
On YouTube type of podcast.
I would even say like your favorite podcast, you know, if like you're listening to Joe Rogan, I feel like his episodes are 2 hours, 3 hours, but it's like,
He's made a name for himself.
yeah, are you and even the biggest fan, are you sitting through 3 hours in like one setting?
You like him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you sit to 3
No,
hours?
I usually like, even if it's like a guest I really like Elon Musk,
Yeah.
like it's a 3-hour episode and I'm like tuning in, like it's over a span of a week.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly. So maybe an hour feels good. I don't know.
Yeah. It could be an hour and then we like maybe cut it down to like a half hour. That way it's like really succinct. It's all like the good stuff and
Yeah.
cut the fluff. We'll cut out like
People could just tune in and listen to the whole thing, you know?
yeah, in a car ride to
Yeah. From
Route 2.
Providence to Newport.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad.
And I guess you could cater them around like we're both wedding photographers, so it's like, if there was something, what did we talk about? We talked a lot about scale,
Yeah.
client experience, setting boundaries in the beginning. Maybe if it was more like a theme, like, hey, today we're going to talk about like boundaries in your wedding business.
Yeah.
Then it'd be like, oh, I want to listen to an episode about setting boundaries in a wedding business.
That's smart, yeah. So you kind of have to, you don't have to have questions ahead, but kind of have an idea
Like a
of where
theme.
you want to go, yeah.
Yeah, like an overall, like, yeah.
And probably just be able to steer as the podcast owner or whatever, you kind of should know how to steer the conversation in that direction, keep it in. Because it's easy. I realize it's easy for us to go from one question to the other, like from one thought to another.
Yeah.
And kind of not even answer the question. I don't think I answered a few questions.
I feel like that does happen because it's like you're kind of going off on a tangent and the person's like giving their answer and then it like sparks another question.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, well, hold on a second.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah. But this was very good, enjoyable.
Yeah.
Thank you for
likewise.
having me here.
Absolutely. We're going to have you on again.
Okay, definitely. Let me know what season 3, 4, 5, 6.
Maybe even season 2. We've doubled down on some guests for, for
really?
the same season. Yeah.
Wow. Wait,
Yeah.
is this a season 1 episode?
This is a season 2 episode.
Oh, so for season 2 again?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll probably come with Sam.
Yes.
Let's do that. And
Or who'd you say? Your sister? What's her name?
Gabby. I don't know. She's
From
very
Trophy
busy.
Wives.
She's
busy?
Yeah, she's busy.
Yeah.
But she's a superstar. So, but
All right. Yeah.
I
well,
could definitely bring Sam with me.
yeah. Reach out to your people and we'll set something up.
Okay. The
Maybe
collective
even
team.
Junie and then
Junie?
Sammy.
No. He'll destroy the whole equipment, everything.
Yeah, we'd have to have someone babysitting that guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thank you again for tuning into Moving the Mountain, a creative leadership podcast. This was Pablo. Pablo, why don't you give a little bit of an outro where people can find your work, follow you on Instagram, maybe hire you for their wedding.
So you can find us on Instagram at Pablo and Samantha, or you can go pabloandsamantha.com. Basically, those 2 places you could see our work. We have 2 different editing styles, so I think
Awesome.
if you don't like one, you'll probably like the other.
And with prices starting as
Starting as low as $2,900. Yeah. So
Awesome.
if we get to work together, that'd be great. If not, recommend my friend Move Mountains over here.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode. Be sure to leave some comments below. Maybe there's some questions that you would like answered about wedding photography, videography, or scaling a business. We'd love to hear about it, and we'll address it on the next episode.